Okay, we're in our next section. It's our second day. And I want to remind you, this should be the launch pad. This is not what you should just watch and be done. You're supposed to read the next section of our devotions. Okay, so the next section is Matthew chapter 1, verse 18 through the end of the chapter, which is verse 25. Okay, so 7 more verses. And these are awesome verses. And again, you're going to see Matthew is showing promises fulfilled. So let's look. I want you to see two things. I want you to see, first off, that Jesus is different. Jesus is different. He is very different than you or I in a lot of ways. And one of those ways is that Matthew is proving that Jesus is fulfilling the promise in his birth. If you go to Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14, there was a promise that would be made that the coming Messiah would be born of a virgin. And he's born of a virgin. That's different than how the rest of us were conceived into this world and how we came into this world. Jesus is different. There's something special going on with Jesus here. He's different. And that's what Matthew wants to point you to, is there's something special. There's something different going on. Jesus is special because he fulfills promises in how the Lord would bring him about. And it also shows something else too. It shows that Jesus is fully God, and he's fully man. We call this the hypostatic union in theology. He is fully God and fully man. He is not half man, half God. He's fully God and fully man. And this is important because Matthew's going to keep coming on these ideas of him fulfilling stuff. And here's the other part, right? Here's the other part that Matthew points out, the second point that I want you to see as you do the ransom method. Just be remembering these two things, that Jesus is different and special, and that also that he has come to you and I. Jesus is the promised one that would come to save his people. That he was coming from the Old Testament to now. Genesis 3, he was promised. Now he's here. Jesus is the one, like Moses, who was in his day. Jesus came to save his people from the bondage of an evil slave master. You remember Moses, who came and saved his people from an evil slave master? Jesus is doing the same thing. He's doing the same thing. He does this through his blood, the blood of a lamb, and through destroying and bringing new life to his people, the new life that Israel had in the Exodus and at Mount Sinai. This is a new Exodus that's happening. And Matthew is pointing you to this, is that Jesus is different. He's special. This is a different guy in the story. This is a guy who is fully man and fully God. And so as you do the ransom study, now turn this off, right? Go do the ransom study and remember these things, that Jesus is special and he's worthy of your study and your worship. Go ahead.